Over time, the rivers and streams have dried up. The rivers and streams used to be fuller. Today, there is water because it rained recently. But overall, this stream has become shallower, just like the Cheremosh. Water, little light. You flow from beneath high mountains. You emerge from deep hollows. Cleanse us. Not one, not two, not three, not eight, not nine. I cannot explain why there is less water. Less comes from the depths. But I do not know why.
The Carpathians. Harmony existed there for millions of years. Water sustained the mountains, and they retained life-giving moisture to gradually release into the valley and fill rivers. However, the system has been disturbed.
Using a soil drill, we will take a soil sample here to familiarize ourselves with the morphological features of the soil beneath the grassy vegetation. The drill has stopped penetrating further into the rock. This indicates that we have reached the parent rock, which in this case is the alluvium diluvium of the Carpathian flysch. These are dense rocks, actually stones, which are very difficult to drill through. We only have 40 centimeters of soil here. However, these 40 centimeters sustain our Carpathian mountains. Thanks to this relatively thin soil, not only herbaceous plants can grow, but also Carpathian forests. There are many sloping surfaces in the Carpathians, with considerable precipitation and highly vulnerable vegetation. Even in natural ecosystems, erosion occurs to a small extent, in minor amounts, but soil materials are washed away and transported to the lower parts of the slopes. When the anthropogenic factor is involved, the consequences become catastrophic. This is because not only are a few centimeters of soil washed away, but large areas are also eroded. Erosion under these conditions is already measured in tons per hectare. Taking the literal translation, erosion means skin peeling. When considering any effect on vegetation, whether holidaymakers pass through, a jeep drives over, or a forest is cleared, the outcome is the same. The vegetation disappears. Where there is no vegetation, we see a wound on the earth. This wound will continuously grow and deepen. Therefore, although in flat areas we might hope that after vegetation is destroyed, it can recover more quickly than in mountainous regions. This is not always the case in the Carpathians. Here, if something is destroyed, there is very little chance of vegetation regrowing, and the wound continues to expand and intensify.
Hutspels are people who take everything from nature, even the colors. They treat nature with great responsibility. No one would cut down a fir tree younger than 90 to 100 years old. They understand that it must be a tree that has lived to a ripe old age, reaching a century. Only then can it be used to build a house or craft something, and only dead wood is used for firewood.
Forestry relies on very outdated technology that destroys the topsoil. Heavy rains wash away this topsoil, causing it to end up in the river and resulting in siltation. As a consequence, our rivers and streams are gradually disappearing. They always find a reason to justify themselves. War, tough conditions, poor technology, and many other reasons. We could lose our rivers entirely. We face a water crisis, and forestry only worsens it. When a forest is cut down, it significantly impacts both water resources and the surrounding environment. Trees should be chosen carefully, but logging must not damage the slope. In some areas with very steep slopes, logging should never occur, and in others, modern technology and methods should be employed. Currently, forestry is constructing temporary roads to reach the site and collect the felled timber. After that, they show no further interest. All paths and roads must be built to minimize erosion. Most roads should be paved with asphalt. At the very least, those roads should be covered with stones, but drainage must be provided for all streams. Similarly, forestry should be responsible for maintaining these roads.
If we consider an adult tree, it contains several cubic meters of water within its biomass. It holds even more in its root system. During heavy rains, one can imagine how much water our forest absorbs. After a rainfall period, this water gradually evaporates. Some of it is released into the soil and slowly flows away without damaging the upper humus horizon. And if you picture a cleared slope where all the trees have been felled, the landscape appears almost Martian. It is completely unprotected from torrential rain, which effectively washes away the entire humus horizon, and forest litter accumulated there over centuries, causing erosion.
The soils of the Carpathian highlands are often compared to Arctic soils. Because of the harsh climate, long winters, and rapid temperature changes, vegetation grows very slowly here. As a result, soil formation and maturation take a long time. If we tried to dig here, the soil would always be about 20 to 25 centimeters deep. And this is soil that has developed over hundreds and thousands of years. slopes damaged by erosion recover very slowly. Often, the indigenous ecosystems that once thrived in this area will no longer be able to re-establish themselves. Everything will be replaced in a ruderal, human-influenced way, causing us to lose the biodiversity of the Carpathians. I drove past in my car. I didn't do anything wrong. Actually, you did. You created a channel for water to flow along. You often see a ravine with a road on one side. People don't understand what this ravine is. It's an old road that wore out, became hard to drive on, and was shifted. But the ravine remained, and it will continue to develop for a very long time. It's no wonder that representatives of various European countries visit us. It's obvious because such activities are banned in their countries. But here, you can do anything. No one supervises it.
If you decide to go to Sinover, we can go anytime for the whole day.
Can these quad bikes only be driven on roads?
You can drive off-road in the woods, along rivers, on water, and through the woods.
Water played a vital role in the lives of the Hutspels. When building a house, the first thing to do was to find water. This was true 500 years ago, and it remains true today.
There was never such a big difference in the volume of the streams. They were bigger or smaller, but the average level was sufficient.
Both this stream and that stream were bigger, and more water came down from the mountains. Now there is a drought. When I run, I can jump over it.
Older people say that there used to be a pipe here, so everyone jumped and swam in this river. It was this deep here.
The Cheremosh is so shallow, I wouldn't have come here before. The river was full, but now it has risen slightly after the rain. You can cross it anywhere now. Until 1969, they floated timber down this river. I remember because my grandfather used to float timber, so I travelled down the Cheremosh River to Visnitsia, where there was a railway, and they took the timber there.
When we were children, we couldn't cross the river to swim. Even adults couldn't cross it because the current was so strong. Now children build dams in the river every 100 meters near their homes and swim in it.
During the dry season, if there is no water reserve in the soil and no equivalent of that sponge, then there is no water. No water means no life.
Very beautiful. These landscapes are worth it.
It's hard, but it's worth it to behold such beauty.
Hoverla is the heart of Ukraine's identity. Everyone should visit this place.
The mountains are a place of spiritual renewal, emotions, and unity with nature. But even the safest form of tourism, hiking, can leave deep scars on the ground if there are hundreds of thousands of human feet.
We were here 2 years ago. There were no such ditches.
Yes, there were fewer.
When we climbed, the surface was flatter.
Erosion not only destroys mountains, rainwater gathers the soil and carries it into mountain streams and rivers, damaging life there as well.
Under that big rock. It came out, here below. Oh look, now it went down here. There it is, at the very bottom.
When it turned white, I saw it.
Did you see?
Yes.
That's where the trout spawn in autumn. They go into the streams, into such small streams. Well, their school was going. Now you can see 10 to 15 of them. There are no more of them there.
There are 20 to 30 of them in the streams, and there used to be countless numbers of them.
There is a significant risk of losing trout. It can be said that the trout population in the Carpathians is dire. Many streams have completely lost their fish populations. During spring or autumn, when spawning occurs, trout no longer enter those streams at all. Even these fish, which are artificially stocked with trout to restore the population, still do not remain in those streams. Now, after heavy rain, the water quickly becomes murky, carrying soil and clay. All of it flows down the slopes. For the roe to survive, it needs oxygen and clean water. If the water is polluted, muddy or silty, it covers the roe and blocks the oxygen they require. This is very harmful to the roe's development.
Some view mud as a natural aspect of the wilderness, but such landscapes do not truly exist and should not be found in pristine environments. Nature has cloaked every inch of the mountains with layers of grass, turf, forest litter or moss. Mud results from irresponsible human activity. Erosion in the Carpathians is not only about dried up streams and lifeless rivers. It also means drinking water shortages, landslides during heavy rains, and the destruction of roads, bridges and communities by floods. Climate change has triggered these processes, but instead of responding, we are making them worse.